Sonic X Episode 69. After a pointless beginning where Chris's friends wish they could join him, Chris thinks this entire region of space has been warped by gravity, and it could spread out to a larger region. Amy insults the Metrics, who are once again doing everything stupidly evil for no reason. Chris says there's a small asteroid ahead, and Amy thinks an emerald's inside it. I guess all the fake emeralds were destroyed, so they know it's a real emerald? The asteroid that clearly looked like a spaceship the whole time is a spaceship, go figure. Why is Tails surprised? They took forever to realize this. Tails apologizes to the harmless looking cute aliens, one of whom lampshades that he thought Tails was gonna crush their ship. Again, how are they all speaking the same language? Archie's better because they told us that the aliens had a universal translator in their brains, and Sonic was given it. That's better care to the writing. Here, the writing has so little care to it that, first of all, the characters are constantly in space on alien planets with no spacesuits, which Archie didn't do. And the aliens all speak English, which Archie didn't do either. They basically have not considered any of the consequences that going to space and alien planets would involve. It really drives the point home that they could have just had the whole thing take place on Mobius instead of alien planets, and aside from the way the civilians looked, it would be the same plot. The aliens want to keep the emerald, because they found it first, and Knuckles naturally gets angry and chases after them trying to beat them up. Sonic tries to nicely reason with them. I know he's supposed to contrast Knuckles, but this is getting ridiculous. Sonic's supposed to be impatient too. Amy lampshades why they're helping the aliens where they're not giving them the Chaos Emerald. At least it's a twist that the aliens are doing something wrong, considering their cute appearance. The aliens' planet is sick, so they want to help. And Amy is excited at the idea of getting love spells from their planets, which also has fortune tellers. So why did these magical beings use their magic to destroy the Metrics, or trap them all in cages? Finally, Sonic gets given the emerald to thank him for the ride home. So after all the big deal that was made about how the aliens want to keep the pretty gem because it's powerful, they get it just like that? Amy excitedly asks the fortune teller if Sonic and her have a future together, and sadly we cut away from her being given an answer. Knuckles is told that they have tons of sickness remedies, and he accuses Chris of having athlete's foot since he's especially interested in that cure. But these cures would all be designed for the aliens, not for humans. Cosmo's suspicious of this place because while their planet is supposedly sick, the aliens don't seem to care. And she tells the fortune teller this is no time for jokes. So are these aliens gonna have an evil villain with them? And the fortune teller says that their running into action in haste is going to cause sorrow to those closest to them. He also sees romance in her future, but conveniently, he thinks that her future is too cloudy to fully interpret. That doesn't make any sense. Cosmo complains that she doesn't want to hurt her friends, and she feels helpless because she's destined to. Amy says that Sonic and her will never be apart again, and he runs off. A fortune teller warns Knuckles that he's about to do something foolish, and he tricks him into doing something foolish later with the lie that he'll prevent himself from being an idiot that way. Amy chases Sonic, and Chris says that his girlfriend's back on his planet after lampshading that Amy's too pushy. Then we see Cosmo at the edge of a cliff. Oh, I wonder what that's supposed to imply. There's no way 4Kids would be fully honest about what she's planning. She thinks that she's only gonna make things worse for everybody. For the most part, she has, with all her whining, aside from her being a translator. Cheese hugs her because Cosmo conveniently waited until nightfall and still didn't jump off the cliff. Sure was lucky that Cream reached her in time when Sonic wasn't running after Cosmo to get to her that fast. Logically, they shouldn't have become nightfall, it should have been Sonic. Amy wants to show Cosmo if there's romance in her future. She's told so, and Amy says it's obvious that she and Tails really like each other, which makes her blush. Cosmo thinks that Tails finds her annoying, even though he's never once complained about her. Amy's asked how she and Sonic are doing. She falls to her knees looking sad. And naturally she talks like she's totally snapped because of all the times Sonic's rejected her. So at least the writing's fully self-aware of how creepy her wanting to use a love spell on Sonic is. To be fair though, if Sonic was made in love with her, he'd be made happy. And what's wrong with being happy? The problem is, it might not be real happiness, but it's better than nothing. Chris warns Sonic about a disease in the planet's water or something, and Tails takes off in the spaceship and gets ready to use the cannon. I wish it didn't take so long. Sonic blasts through a mountain in his spin dash and causes an explosion, and Chris stares at a pink pulsating blob on a screen and says that Sonic did it. Some water rushes out of a mountain, and Sonic gets sent around with it, and we're told that he saved the planet. Just by doing that. Shockingly easily. Wasn't the planet being threatened by a disease? Wouldn't the solution be for them to find a cure? And if it was that easy, it would have been cured by now. That was easy. The only source of conflict is really easily solved. Cosmo reassures Tails that she's glad she met him. She trips on a rope out of nowhere, and they get launched upwards by something below them out of nowhere. They hold each other, which is pretty sweet as they stare at the moon. And the alien says happily that she gave Amy a love spell. And Cream's just as naive as the aliens because she sees nothing wrong with love spells whatsoever. Wouldn't everyone on the planet use love spells? Because it'd be easier? So there's no actually consensual relationships then. One of them says that Amy set a trap so that she would fall somewhere just when the moon showed up. It turns out that somehow, without explanation, Cosmo and Tails got the trap instead of Sonic. Why was Amy expecting Sonic to even be where the trap would be? She should have lured him there with the promise of chili dogs. Logically, she would have easily won. And also, you'd think Cosmo and Tails would hear Amy getting angry and yelling at them. I'm so confused. Was the love spell in the trap that sent them both upwards? It has to be. So that's both refreshing and confusing. Because I always assumed the love spell would be a potion that they would drink. And somehow they get the potion meant for Sonic because of a mix-up. That would have been way simpler. I heard about this happening before I watched this episode, and I thought it would make sense. This episode was about the heroes getting an emerald from a group of overly cutesy aliens, surprisingly easily considering how they wanted to hold on to it. It turns out the planet's full of fortune tellers that are fully accurate when it comes to Cosmo, and also conveniently they somehow think the future is too cloudy to predict too accurately, so they won't spoil future plot points. At that point, why bother making them able to predict the future at all? It's a filler episode right up until the point where Tails and Cosmo somehow fall for a trap that makes them want to date each other from now on because of a love spell. Somehow they fell for the trap instead of Sonic, when Amy was expecting Sonic to fall for it. So why didn't he? I thought I'd get shown how Amy failed because that seems pretty important. I thought they'd be given a drinkable love potion to fall in love. What's really pointless is that they were already in love. So this just made them start dating each other when they're too shy to start. Tails would have been really upset at her loss regardless of whether this happened or not, but him getting more attached to her will just make it worse. I'm glad Cosmo got worried about and lampshaded the fact that she's gonna cause grief and sorrow for her friends later. This combined with her thinking that Tails thinks she's annoying, and at least she's self-aware, while Antoine wasn't, and probably would never understand why people hated him. But I'm pretty sure that she'll be necessary to do things later on, so there's really no way out of causing her friend's grief. So it sure is lucky that Cream found her at the edge of that cliff in time, and she just conveniently stood there doing nothing until nightfall. Yeah, I'm sure she wasn't planning to do anything in that cliff. She just came there for no reason, instead of staring off into space literally anywhere else. She's the Antoine of the team, so she'd be way too scared to do that anyways. I say that, but apparently she'll get braver. I assume they'll be like Bunny and Antoine Archie from now on, and Cosmo's main appeal will be giving Tails affection. After all, it'd be really embarrassing to the show if Ken Penders had better writing than it for once, by actually making the main characters date from then on, and giving each other sweet moments all the time. Well, this show wouldn't do that. That would be really embarrassing. So I assumed that they wouldn't do that.